Hear me now. Welcome back to the True Blue Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Sucardi. You can reach me on Twitter and Instagram at Podcast True Blue. Decided not to play drums, a little tap tap, to start out, just to try something different. I'm going to be changing things up. That's the beauty of doing this podcast, is I could just try different things and then over time refine them. So figured I'd just come out with the Hear Me Now. So here we are. It's July 27th. Happy to be here. I'm a little chilled out. I'm kind of tired. I've been smoking a little weed. I went swimming before. I swam about like 20 minutes. So, and it was kind of busy today. I had a couple meetings after work and stuff. All positive shit. So I feel good and connected with some friends and stuff. So just wanted to record tonight. See if I can get out another episode. We're at session 17. So I'm really just happy to be here. So the first segment I'm going to introduce is since we last spoke. That's kind of just my recap, the way I'm like going to recap since the last episode. I kind of like calling it Since We Last Spoke. It's a RJD2 album, really good one. And I just think it's just really good, really fine wording. So I'm just going to, in this segment, I'm just going to go over just what's up, what I've been up to, just certain thoughts, certain things. So just want to kind of introduce that. So I wrote down 3 words before I recorded this podcast. First word was self-care. And I realized that's what this podcast is all about. True Blue self-care. You know, it's one and the same. It's just all about taking care of yourself, trying to be as available and trying to be as loving to yourself so you can be present on this earth for what God intended for you. And that's my view, okay? That's just like kind of where I stand with it. You know, but just like loving oneself, to be available to serve, to serve others, to share yourself, and to really enjoy this life. We're here to enjoy it. So it's important for me, at least around this word self-care, to take care of myself. And doing this podcast, and I say this a lot, is so part of that, is just to be able to have a voice, be able to be vulnerable, be able to express myself, talk my shit, you know what I mean? The second word I wrote was grateful, because, as much as I get anxiety about the future, I get depressed about the past, I'm super grateful to be here now, July 27th, 2020, with you, recording. I mean, I'm so blessed. I have a roof over my head. I have a great fucking dog. I have so much amazing music. Oh my God, between records and fucking Spotify. I mean, and just like all this awesome shit with Zoom. I was on a couple Zoom meetings today, and it was just great. It's so cool to be able to connect with like people, especially in these crazy times, just to really take advantage of this technology. Podcast, Zoom, fucking FaceTime. I mean, even text messaging, any kind of communication right now is very much appreciated, even if the person doesn't say so. And then the third and final word that I wrote was connection. It's a word that I use a lot because I feel like it's part of my objective here on earth is to connect with other people, to bond with them, make them not feel so alone, but ultimately, become one in this thing we call Earth, and love, and that like third eye, all that kind of hippie shit. But on the real though, like really connecting with people, it's crazy how like we have a lot of these differences with our cultures and all this, but there's plenty of people who are going through and feeling the same things, just looking in different parts of the country, different parts of the world. They speak different languages, but we're all feeling sad or depressed or happy or elated or any of those feelings, and it's just really cool to be able to connect, and it's just so important. It's part of what I think I'm here to do, and part of my service, I think, on this earth, is to connect with other human beings, and the earth as well, and my wonderful dog, and just things that are just like creatures of love, or just like definitely love is the ultimate sort of theme behind all this. So I just really wanted to get all hippy dippy with you guys early and talk about those 3 words. They're 3 great words, and ones that I'm happy to be sharing. So I want to give a couple shout outs. There are a lot of birthdays this month. Shout out to my friend Andy. His birthday was on the 17th. My friend John on the 23rd. My friend Kristen on the 25th. And then all of my brothers all have a fucking birthday this month. Starting from the 24th, the 28th, and then the 1st of August. So within this same week, I should say. It's crazy, too, because, like, they're all, let me think here. They're all from different women. Yeah, they're all my brothers are, no, sorry. They're all my brothers, but they're like half. The one's either through my dad or through my mom. But they're just my brothers. I don't call them half. I'm just explaining it to you guys. But themselves, they're all come from 3 different women, if that makes any sense. I don't want to confuse anybody, but I just want to shout out all my brothers, Michael, Brian, and Frank. They're all great brothers, and they're all different. Definitely the funniest, for sure. I mean, but they are funny, especially my the ones on my dad's side, the Italian sense of humor. Not that my other brother's not funny, but it's just, it's different. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. In my family, there's a lot of March, like myself, and then a lot of July. It's interesting how some families work like that. I have a friend, his name's Aubrey. His birthday is next month, and we went to school with this girl who has a birthday the same day as him. And I used to joke, and they were born the same year. I used to joke that their parents were having sex the same time, probably in the same room. And I don't know, because it like cracked me up. I'd be like, you know what that means, right? You guys were born on the same day, same year. Like, no, what? I'm like, that means your parents they were doing it the same time, the same room, getting all freaky, 1981 style. So yeah, I didn't think it was that funny, but I think it's funny. I mean, especially on the same day. I mean, come on. At least the parents, they had to have banged, like, maybe in the same week. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but, like, maybe, I mean, come on. So it's just really hilarious to me. But you get one birthday a fucking year, one a year, so it's important to celebrate it, I mean, I know as we get older, it's a little bit less exciting or whatever, but still, just to just be grateful that you're here, and just be happy that people are showing you love and shit. So I just want to shout out my brothers. It's just crazy, all the birthdays in July. Oh, I wanted to share with you guys one of the best feelings I felt here, in like forever. So turning off my microphone timer, excuse me, let me start over. It's worth it. So one of the best feelings that I've experienced here on planet Earth is turning off my microwave timer before it sounds off. I mean, that is like the best fucking feeling, because when that thing sounds off, it's forever, and it's so fucking annoying. Oh my God. It's the worst. When I'm on the phone with anyone, like I have a close friend of mine, and then even when I'm on the phone with my mom, and that thing sounds off, or I have to set it, they're all so bothered. Like, what is that? Because it's such a horrible sound. Like after like the whole alarm of it. I mean, it's great to have that fucking timer, but man, when I'm able to clear it before it sounds off, it's such a rewarding feeling. It's kind of like running over a styrofoam cup and like feeling everything kind of like explode, and like really like lining up your front tire with it. I mean, yeah, someone littered, that sucks, but like it's such a good feeling to run those fuckers over, just like it is to turn off your microwave timer before it sounds off. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Also wanted to give a shout out to the mute option on Instagram and Twitter. It's really saved me a lot of time and a lot of energy. There's a lot of shit on social media that, I don't know, I don't need to see, and I'm just not too interested in. I'm all for people expressing themselves, but that mute option has definitely saved me. I don't want to unfollow anyone. That's not necessary, but definitely good to mute. So I just want to shout that out. If you don't know, you can mute folks on social media, so you don't see their stories or their posts. And I'll probably unmute some of them here in a couple months, but lately it's just like, it's killer. So I'm just trying to keep it positive hardcore. So just want to shout out the mute option. Shout out to the mute option. It keeps your relationships healthy, but also gives you the peace. Gives you the peace and the fucking break of all whatever they're expressing. So just want to shout that out. Yeah, hey, I want to also now get into my self-care here. So I call this segment self-care because it's about motherfucking self-care, and that's what this podcast is about. So I'm going to talk a little bit about fish oil. It's one of the vitamins that I take. Here every now and again I'm going to talk about a vitamin or a supplement that I personally take as the self-care part of this podcast, so that way I can just share it with y'all. And so we're doing fish oil. So fish oil, really good for the heart. Really good. It's gonna help. It's gonna help with any kind of blood clotting. It's gonna also assist with like any protection against strokes. So really beneficial. It actually helps reduce your triglycerides, which ultimately is what could like harden up your arteries and like your artery walls and shit, which could give you heart attack and stroke and shit. So it's really good for your heart. It will help improve your immune response. So anything that helps your immune system is definitely positive hardcore when it comes to vitamins. And it's also a potential anti-inflammatory for arthritis. If you've ever dealt with arthritis, you know it's a weird kind of pain. It's not like I cut myself or a bruise. It's an achy, weird in the bones, in the veins pain. So, this is it's sort of simple, but it's so key. And this is fish oil also really good for your skin, really good for your skin, and just something that I've taken for years and years. And I honestly can't say enough good things about it. I don't take a lot of vitamins, but the ones that I do take, I try to do a little bit more research on, especially early on. And I don't know too much about the history of my dad and my grandfather, but I know there's a couple of heart issues, so I want to make sure that I'm going to be here a long time. Be here a long time. So, fish oil. Consider taking it. It's good for your heart. That's the main. That's the main of our fucking bodies. So, got to take care of the main. So, yeah, I just want to shout out fish oil. All right, so I'm going to read some poetry right now. I'm going to read a little bit of poetry. So, I got this poetry book. It's called Desire. It's by David Bromwich. And, it has a pretty interesting, like, retro-looking 80s cover. And it's a selected poem, 63 to 87. And, I think what I dug about it is it was all over the place, from, like, long-ass poems, prose, to short haiku stuff. Really, like, really different kind of layouts. Really, really interesting. And it was like a bargain, like one of the used books. And I found a couple that same day, which is pretty rare. It's like, for me with poetry, I have to like have read the person, or it's one of those things where I don't find, like I do with music, new poets that I enjoy reading right off the bat. It may take a while, or there were a couple there when I first got into poetry that really were pretty awesome. This was one of the random ones that I just picked up. So I figured I'd read a couple of poems from this book, Desire, by David Bromwich. All right, let's see, So I have them labeled. Okay, so this is called I Read This Someplace. The lyre bird amid the eucalyptus, listening for every sound he hears, to trip him into sound he makes. He has no call or song his own. He imitates. Each time he utters something, chances are, it is his soul that speaks. This one's called Born Again. Let me be born again. Let me literally be spirited back within my mother, who equally miraculously let be live as once she was. Let me decide just where and when and in what set of circumstances I shall this time choose to enter. Let me think. I kind of dig that because it's born again, and just like, he's interesting with his words. as I read them, I'm like, am I falling? Am I tripping over them? Or are they just kind of like read that way? And they definitely seem to be a little bit read that way. But I like that. He just says, let me be born again. Let me literally be spirited back within my mother, who was equally, miraculously, let be live as once she was. That let be live as once she was is very interesting. But I like that equally and miraculously. I mean, geez, to fucking give birth. My God. Let me decide just where and when and in what set of circumstances I shall this time choose to enter. Let me think. It's kind of fun too to think about, like, you know, you could call the shots or do it differently, different time, different place, whatever. I just kind of dig that. I like how he puts "let me think" at the end. Sometimes I like when they kind of end like that. Alright. So let's check the next one that I have here. We got 196. Yeah, I read a couple of these this weekend. Really enjoyed them. Alright, here goes 196. I don't know which one it is, so I'll read both of them. They're really small. This one is called The Terms. If animals can couple, what was human about us? My body penetrated yours more gently than a sword. Okay, yeah, this is definitely the one. Excuse me, let me read this again. It's short. The Terms. If animals can couple, what was human about us? My body penetrated yours more gently than a sword. That's really cool. Yeah, again, if animals can couple, what was human about us? My body penetrated yours more gently than a sword. Yeah, I like that. Penetrated yours more gently than a sword. It's pretty cool. Definitely has a lot of interesting words there and images. More gently than a sword. That's pretty interesting. I like that. I'll just read the next one on there because it's so small. The crux. We assume what we have. Excuse me, let me start over. The crux. We assume what we can leave unsaid. What can we assume? One day we'll be dead. That's very true. Pretty brutal. Alright, so let's see here. Last one here. This is David Bromwich from his book Desire. It's like a collection of poems. Ven 20 Ven. Ven 20 Ven. Alright. Alright, this is called Person. I want to lie in the greasewood with a rifle and pick off strangers that pass in cars. Who knows me really? It's all an act. But secretly, someone is alive in here. Someone I want you to meet. I really dig that. It's kind of weird. He says, I want to lie in the greasewood with a rifle and pick off strangers that pass in cars. I mean, that's kind of heavy, but I don't see, like, I go somewhere else with it. I don't really see someone picking off strangers. It's more of like a kid fantasy, maybe shooting rocks or something. Who knows me really? It's all an act. But secretly, someone is alive in here. Someone I want you to meet. Gosh, I know sometimes you're struggling with your identity, struggling with who you are, or, who knows me really. Sometimes you don't feel like, your friends or family know you, and it's all an act. Boy, I know a lot of people where it's all an act. I've experienced that myself. I'm not exempt. It's just crazy. But secretly, someone is alive in here. Someone I want you to meet. Yeah, right. It's like someone's in there. There's someone in there. Someone I want you to meet. It's interesting. It's called Person, so it's just very vague. I kind of dig it, especially just the where he comes to at the end. Who knows me really? It's all an act. And then he turns around saying, but secretly, someone is alive in here. Hey, the good news, someone's in there. Someone I want you to meet. That's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, I just wanted to share these couple poems with you. David Bromwich, Desire. Old school. Alright, so now for the True Blue playlist. I'm going to call this segment True Blue Playlist instead of the Song of the Week. That's kind of cheesy. But I mean, it works. I ain't trying to play hate. It works. But I'm building a playlist on Spotify, so I figured I'd call this segment True Blue Playlist to promote it a little bit more, and then also just share some music. So this week I decided to share this song called Future Days. It's by a band called Can, like canned soup. And then the album is also called Future Days. So it's the title track, it's the first song. And this is actually a band that my friend turned me on to. They're from the 70s. They're kind of like an experimental, very jammy kind of a rock band from the 70s, from Germany. And what's cool is one of my friends, he introduced me to them, and they're an older band, and I'd never heard of them. And they have such a generic name, too. And he told me specifically which albums to like check out. He's like, yeah, you gotta check out these two albums. And I share this with you because it's been such a long time since someone has recommended me a band that I've not heard that's been really good. And this one is really good, and I've been enjoying it probably the past like 6 weeks, pretty nonstop. And when I go to my studio and jam, I like to jam to some of these songs because they're really experimental. They really cool. It's this song in particular, it's like a 10-minute long, kind of like a hypnotic jam. Really great harmonies on this song in the vocals, really subtle vocals as well that begin around the 4-minute mark, but it sounds so dope. Like it's again, like this song is kind of like a jam song, and with the vocals being subtle, the way that they come in, the harmonies with them, it just sounds so good. The music is a little bossa nova, with a rhythm section. Real cool though, kind of has that, like, at least for me, that like trance vibe that like gets me kind of hearing the lyrics, gets me thinking about like the rhythm, and it's cool. There's a lot of like early synth in this song. It adds to kind of the psychedelic nature of it, and it's just one of those songs that I've been really enjoying. I mean, it's like 10 minutes, and I just am so excited to share it with you guys because, again, it's new music for me. It's new old music, which is really cool when that happens, when you discover or someone shares with you some music that came out whenever, especially in this case the 70s, like 50 fucking years ago practically now, and when they can share it with you and it's good. My God, it's good. So yeah, this is really cool. The album is Future Days. The song is Future Days. The band is called Can, like can of soup, C-A-N. And check this song out. It's so fucking good. And this is something you have to listen to a couple times. It's definitely not something you play once. You're like, oh, it's great. But there's actually another song on this album, Future Days, called Moonshake, and it's awesome. It's like 4 minutes. It's obviously a lot shorter, and it's got such a cool-ass groove to it. Really catchy. Really a little almost like dancey in this, like, I don't know, this underground way, this black and white way. So check out this album, Future Days. There's a lot of, I mean, the whole album is good. The first song, Future Days, and then the song Moonshake. I'll put both of those motherfuckers on my True Blue playlist, a 2-for-1 there. But yeah, great music, and I'm so happy to share this with you guys. Go listen to it. Can, Future Days. Alright, well, fucking A, that is it. Thanks for chilling with me for session 17 of the True Blue podcast. Again, you can find me online at Podcast True Blue, and that's on Twitter and Instagram. And as long as your shit ain't whack, I won't mute you. Alright? So, hey, I'm Zach. Really, really, thanks again for chilling with me, and I hope you guys have an excellent week, and I'll be talking to you soon. Alright, peace.